For trichomes.com, I'm Jarod Duggins, and this is the Careers in Cannabis podcast. On this show, we sit down with staffing agencies, cannabis companies, and other industry professionals to discuss employment opportunities in the burgeoning cannabis industry. Now, whether we're talking couches, alcohol, or cannabis, a digital direct-to-consumer model requires flexibility and strategy. Prior to finding her career in cannabis, our next guest worked for Wayfair, helping found and run a few of their in-house brands, before leaving to become a part of an East Coast alcohol delivery company called Drizly. After very successfully navigating the tumultuous terrain surrounding the alcohol industry in their home state, one of the founders of Drizzly then decided to branch out in order to start a partner delivery servicing the cannabis consumer. Today, we hear about how experiences from other direct-to-consumer businesses helped our next guest and her team successfully get into the cannabis industry. If you're an entrepreneur interested in the delivery business who qualifies for social equity programs in Massachusetts, you probably want to stick around and hear what today's guest has to offer. We are joined today by Meredith Mahoney, president of Lantern, a cannabis delivery company. Meredith, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you, and really glad you can be here. You know, I know Lantern's making some moves recently, and before we get into that, I just wanted to check in and see how you are and where you are. You know, we're still, within COVID, it's ramping up as per the numbers on traditional media. So how are you doing right now?
Well, thank you so much for asking. I'm in Melrose, Massachusetts, right outside Boston. As you mentioned, things are getting worse here in Mass and I think all over the country, but I'm doing fine. The team's doing fine. I think we're a tech company, so we're kind of used to pivoting and working remotely. So it's definitely an interesting time, and I'm definitely lucky in the grand scheme of things with a safe place to work and be. And so all is good here.
That's fantastic to hear. A lot of people have been affected, but we are some of the lucky people here in the cannabis industry, deemed essential. And for those who rely on cannabis as a medicine, companies like Lantern are there to deliver it to them. I want to get into where Lantern came from, but first, what does your background look like? Where did you come from, and how did you find a career in cannabis?
Interesting path to cannabis. I am not from the cannabis industry, although I'm not sure how many people are given how young the industry is.
Right.
But my background, I've spent my career in direct-to-consumer businesses, primarily businesses that have a strong brand attached to them. The first part of my career was more in brick and mortar stores. Second half of my career has been spent with digitally native brands. I spent 8 years at Wayfair, the furniture online retailer. And while I was there, I founded and ran 3 of the portfolio brands there. So it was a really terrific way to kind of work in startup, but not be part of a startup, kind of be under the umbrella of a big company with a lot of resources. I've always been interested in solving hard consumer problems and how do you create a customer journey that creates trust and stickiness. In furniture, back in 2010, when I joined Wayfair, it was, will people order sofas online? They weren't at the time. So we had to solve problems like that. After I left Wayfair, I went and ran a small beauty company, and, it was clean, non-toxic beauty. The problems there were, how do you help the customer understand why to use these products versus other conventional products that are, considered to include toxic ingredients that aren't beneficial for your skin. And so it's interesting when I think about my journey to cannabis, it was not a category that I really ever thought I would be in. But once presented with the opportunity to be part of it, it really seemed like the culmination of everything I loved to do. And, really shaping an industry, creating a really exciting customer journey, creating a journey that was accessible, safe, legal, free of stigma, confidence inducing. And so those are all the things that get me really excited about it. And it's just been an incredible year this year being part of the industry. And I just really can't imagine doing anything else at this point.
No, that's awesome. And,
Yeah.
with a diverse background and experience set like yourself, um, it lends to the fact that you're part of a growing company in a growing industry. But really, Lantern, I do believe, has some background and some history, such as yourself, and you guys have a partner or a beginning company and set of technology that you guys stem from. You want to tell us a little bit about Drizzly?
Yes. So Drizzly was born and bred in Boston, where I'm from, and where Lantern is founded as well. It was founded 8 years ago by a couple of guys out of Boston College. And the problem they were trying to solve is, why can't you get alcohol delivered? And you actually were legally allowed to, but no one was doing it. This was well before DoorDash, Uber Eats, GoPuff, any of those delivery brands. And so they set out to solve, how to deliver a regulated product. And they created this really great front-end platform that aggregated the menus and the inventories across this very disaggregated set of mom and pop alcohol retailers. There's different regulations in different states, but here in Mass, you can only have, I think, 1 or 2 licenses per owner. So it was a way for customers to shop a lot of selection, be able to price compare, and then get it conveniently delivered to their door. And so over the last 7-8 years, the Drizzly team has built the #1 alcohol e-commerce platform that facilitates delivery in North America. And after going through all of the technology build and all of the regulatory relationships and all of the customer learnings, the company kind of looked inward in 2018 and said, we need to scale this, and what's happening right outside our door in Mass, and that is the cannabis industry is starting to really get going here. So it took probably a year to get the corporate governance worked out and create the company and make sure everyone felt comfortable with it on the investor side, which they did. And then in 2019, at the end of the year, one of the co-founders of Drizzly peeled off the Drizzly business and founded Lantern with a couple of engineers. I joined that small and mighty team of 3 a couple months later. And yeah, we are a separate company, but we work very, very closely with Drizzly. There's a lot of things that are the same across the 2 platforms, a lot of things that are different, but we're constantly trading learnings back and forth.
Well, that's amazing for the learning curve.
Yeah.
No matter what business, but when you're rooted in an experience like you are, personally, as well as Lantern having Drizzly as a backbone, that's amazing. That's an amazing foundation, an amazing starting point.
Yeah, it was an incredible head start. I think about others in the space trying to do what we're doing, and I kind of can't imagine having to do it from scratch. So we were very lucky to have that foundation.
That's awesome. And you talk about being that large group of 3 in the beginning.
Yeah.
Is there any growth or any positions that have been opening up over the last little bit with Lantern that you want to talk about here for our listeners?
Yeah, we're still small. I mean, we're 15 people now, but really excited about the team we've built. And we're in all of the areas you can imagine: operations, marketing, government affairs, obviously, a good number of engineers, product, design. And yeah, everyone, they make fun of me when I say, go back to your team. And they're like, well, the team's me, so we can have this meeting right now. But yeah, it's great. I think we're very startup minded. It's a group of startup people, very, very deep in e-commerce experience and data analytics and marketing. And, it's interesting to think about the profile that's successful in this business. You really have to find these amazing unicorns that are both highly strategic, but able to really roll up their sleeves and get anything done and get these strategic initiatives done in a category that is changing and is fluid and is not the same week to week. So, I'm very, very proud of the team we built. We'll probably double the team size next year and just continue to really, build a team that is, what I would say is best in class and has a really, really wide range of backgrounds and expertise and experiences.
So Lantern is looking for the next best startup unicorn.
Every startup is, but yes.
If that was something we could put out a profile for on LinkedIn, I think, we'd see who consider themselves ready for the job. But aside from that, I was doing a little bit of research before, and Ashley had hipped me to the fact that Lantern has created something a little bit better than just job opportunity within Lantern. They've created an incubator as to where you can start your own business. You want to tell us a little bit more about the delivery incubator?
Yeah. So another reason I was specifically interested in being part of Lantern is because from the very beginning, having a very, very strong social equity component to the business was key to the way that the founder founded the business. I was at a point in my career where I was specifically looking for that as a component of my next role. And, I think social equity is kind of a buzzy term in cannabis, and not that people aren't genuine in their interest in lifting up social equity. But for me, I was interested in being part of something that I could and our company could actually affect through our expertise and experience. And so we as a team are a group of people that started businesses over and over because we're mostly from the world of startups. And so how we engage with social equity work is to find, mentor, and help social equity applicants start businesses. And that's our incubator program. And specifically, we work with entrepreneurs that are interested in starting delivery businesses. We're not necessarily keeping folks out that want to start dispensaries or micro businesses or anything like that. We're happy to have them be part of our ecosphere as well. However, we believe delivery is one of the easiest and lowest capital ways to start a business in cannabis. It's, can be done for under $50,000. Still a lot of money, let's be clear, but it's not, say, the $750,000 that you may need to start and build out a dispensary. So we run a 3-week program. We do some of the classes ourselves. We bring in other folks, attorneys, government affairs people, other business owners, and we really walk the entrepreneurs, the future entrepreneurs, through everything from the licensing process, how to build a P&L, how to hire and manage people, how to procure and or lease cars, how to outfit them. We get really, really granular. And so from there, I think the magic actually happens after the incubator, because we maintain these really close relationships with all of the people who have come out of it. And we're talking to them on a weekly basis and really helping them in any way we can post-incubator. This is a Massachusetts program today, but we're going to be scaling it outside of the state in the next year, looking either to replicate the mass programming we have or potentially partnering with local social equity organizations that are trying to do the same thing, just trying to plug in the best way we can. And it's been incredible. And in mass, delivery has to be done by third-party companies that are owned by social equity applicants, which we are very much in support of. And we actually have gone out and lobbied for that model in other states. And so not only are we excited about it because we believe it's the right thing to do, it's a really important part of our business and our supply chain. And so those connections are vital to what we're doing. And I think we're additive, hopefully, to their businesses as well. I think they would say we are.
So that's all great information, Meredith. And when it comes down to the expanding programs and how to keep track of this, first of all, we will have the hyperlinks in most of the bios, whether it's YouTube or Spotify. But what is lanterns1.com?
So we're lanternnow.com. There's 2 N's. So lantern and then the word now.com. And the incubator, you can find it on our website in the footer, but it's also at cannabisdeliveryincubator.com. Cannabisdeliveryincubator.com. Such fantastic information. That's a mouthful.
It is, but it says directly what it is. So, if someone's looking for it, that's where to find it. I thank you so much for the time you've taken. I thank you and your group for the initiatives you've taken to help, people who are in need of the medication get it, and people who are in need of an opportunity to find it. So thank you very much to you and the Lantern team. And I look forward to keeping up with your journey.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk about it. I had a great time today. It's great speaking to you.
Catch up soon, Meredith. Thank you. You can follow our series, Careers in Cannabis, as well as more great shows like this one at trichomes.com. If you're a member of the cannabis community and you have a story you want to share with us, please reach out. You can reach the show via emailing careersincannabis@trichomes.com. Please take a second to subscribe to the podcast and write a review. It really helps others find the show. You can also join in the discussion with industry insiders by visiting trichomes.com and following us on all social media. For trichomes.com, I'm Jarod Duggins. Be well, and thank you for listening.